Today I'm with Phiroze and Ratty Javeri of the Indian National Kennel Club, and it's it's an occasion today because it happens to be their 52nd wedding anniversary. So congratulations, both of you.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
thank you for inviting me over. It's such a pleasure to finally meet up with you
Great.
because being a dog lover myself, okay, I've been looking forward to such a meeting. So thank you for that. This meeting happened because Subodh Gore sir asked me to kind of interview them, and that I run the Weekend Aquarist podcast. Okay, so it
Yes.
focuses primarily on aquariums and aquarium fish.
Right.
But I'm a pet lover, so here I am, and so on Subodh sir's request, this particular special episode, and this one is going to be broadcast on the INKC channel. So, Daddy ma'am, we'll start with you. Okay, you need to tell us, when did this idea of INKC, come about? When did you start? From what I understand, is that INKC is almost nearing 70 years
Yes.
of its foundation. That's really amazing. So let's hear from you. How did it all start?
Well, we found that the clubs that were there, the BPKC,
The year.
besides holding a dog show once a year, there was no other program. There was no program for the members. And what we did is when we started obedience classes for all dog lovers. It was free for all dog lovers. So people should take interest in their dog.
Right.
There are so many people who just send their dogs out with the servants. We want people to take interest in their own dog,
Right.
to take them out themselves,
Right.
to train them. And later on, some years later, we were fortunate enough to get English trainers over here, and they taught us the latest methods of training.
So before we get into that, and there's a lot I want to discuss about the training part of it also. Uh, when, which year are we talking about? When did we start INKC?
We started in 1957,
1957. Wow.
March 1957.
Wow. 70 years in the running, and you have touched so many lives in all these 7 decades. And I can only imagine the number of dogs that have benefited from, because INKC was there, right? So there is this saying and the tagline that you go by: dogs for a good life and a good life for a dog. So
Correct.
can you elaborate on that thought also? Firoz?
Uh, well, what we believe is that dogs enhance one's life. So that is not the whole part of it. The other half is that the dog itself should have a good life. So the whole beauty of having a pet dog
Right.
is the interrelationship.
Right.
So for both to be happy together is the only way out.
Right.
You cannot have one which is happy and the other not happy. It's not possible. So we coined this motto for ourselves.
And it's a beautiful motto.
I think this motto applies everywhere, and it helps us to regulate our own methods and thoughts, like how we should proceed.
Yeah,
Because that's like an anchor.
Yeah, it
Yes.
gives you a guiding
Yes.
path, so to say,
Yes.
because when you say good life for
Yes.
dog, then your mission becomes very clear. And
Right.
for all of us who have kept dogs or who keep dogs, they are part of our family. They are like family members, and you want only the best for them, right?
Right. Yes.
My wife fusses over our Labrador Shadow so much, so he's like,
Uh,
she's like, even if she's away, she'll like, okay, did he do potty? Did he go for a walk? Has he had food? Why hasn't he had food? So the day starts
Yes.
with him, The day ends with him.
Yes.
And when he gets up in the morning, I mean, it's so amazing to have them in your life because nobody greets you like that. I mean,
Quite right.
you know, when
Yes.
you wake up, they're so happy. Okay, you're awake now. Okay, it's my time now. So tell us about all the dogs that you've kept over the years. How many
Oh,
dogs would that be?
we've lost count about how many. She started with an Irish setter when she was in school, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, that
Right,
It
was
was
her first dog,
13.
right, right.
and later on,
Then we had the golden retrievers.
Okay,
We had a pair.
right,
And after that, we had the Shelties, Shetland sheepdogs.
okay.
Then I don't know, we've had so many others, Collie, Pomeranian, all sorts.
So I see
Pug,
all of these
uh,
featured over here in these
yeah,
magazines. This is your Indian National Kennel Club annual books, and there are
right.
some postcards also over there.
yes.
Yes.
Okay,
The
Oh,
Collie is one of our puppies.
right.
yes. Mhm.
Beautiful dog. What was the name?
This dog was the son of our female. It was bred by us,
Lassie
and
was
Lassie was the
the
mother. I
mother.
don't recall this dog's first name,
It was
but
a long time ago.
Sure.
uh,
Uh,
Wow. So, and you have information behind these postcards. These are the
yes,
postcards you
yes.
used to
These
Yeah.
make
greeting
and all.
cards were like to promote interest in dogs among
Right,
people.
different
right.
breeds. We had given the description of the breed,
Yes,
so people should understand what they are.
right, right. So you were talking about, you know, when you started off, you wanted to make a change by also bringing in the dog trainers. I believe in those years, that concept itself would not have
Was
existed,
Yes,
correct.
yes,
right? So tell
yes,
us about what it
yes.
was and what it has
Training
now
was
become.
just a haphazard method going on. Very few people would study books or read or whatever, and basically the class of people who took to dog training was just people who had nothing else to do in life, maybe, and
Uh-huh.
they became trainers.
Right,
And the sad part is that people don't want to take an interest in their own dogs to train them. And
right,
so these trainers get into the picture. So,
right,
anyway, we can't avoid that. So, the best thing to do is to introduce new methods which even those trainers would follow.
right.
So, ultimately, the dogs would benefit. So,
So,
instead of the harsh methods with training by force, we had training by incentive, which was introduced by these people who came down several times. John Rogerson came 3 times. John Uncle was there. Then David Bates came. They were all. One of them was a police dog trainer himself
mm,
and a breeder of Rottweilers. So we've had these popular people coming down and wonderful people. And then we had also Chris Walkowicz, the famous author and breeder of German Shepherds. Her husband was also a trainer. The both of them had come down.
right. So going moving away from using fear as a method to train
Yes,
dogs, you know,
yes,
fear
yes.
and punishment to train
Correct.
dogs, you started introducing the concept of training dogs using reward and
Yes, yes.
encouragement.
Reward, motivation.
Right,
Yes, and basically there are certain facts about dogs which one must understand, which comes to now people call themselves dog behaviorists.
mm.
So the behaviorist part and the training part are they're overlapping. You see, they're one
Yes,
and the same
yes,
actually.
yes.
So the concepts are different. For example, if a dog is dominant,
Oh,
we came to understand that you must feed your dog after he sees you eating your food, not before.
uh,
Because among dogs, the pack leader eats first.
yeah, yes.
So if you feed your dog first, he becomes dominant. And
Oh,
see, if the dog is basically dominant, that makes matters worse.
oh my
Yeah,
God!
then he starts bossing
All
over the
this,
people.
I can
Yes, you
relate
wouldn't
to it.
realize that. You see, these are the little secrets that come out.
Yeah.
The other thing is, if your dog is trying to dominate you, don't take it into your bedroom
Uh,
at night or whenever.
uh,
Try to keep him because a dominant dog always wants to be closer and closest to the head of the family.
Oh,
So
amazing. I mean, I just
this
got.
is this
I
is if the dog is dominant, if it's trying to dominate you and become aggressive or something. But these things you have to understand from the
yes.
dog's point of view.
I just had a moment of realization just now as Firoz sir was telling this because just dawned on me how my own dog, because we feed him first, and then if we don't feed him first, then he will throw a tantrum. He'll start barking at us as if he's almost reprimanding us, right? So I can relate to what you're saying,
Yes.
and it's thanks for that insight. And I'm sure you've got many such insights,
So many things.
for us.
Yes. Half the part of training is not to get your dog into bad habits. For
Right,
example, begging for food at the table,
right.
or insisting on sleeping with you in the bed. We don't recommend it. Of course, some
Right,
people are happy doing it, but
right.
that's the point. Is suppose the female comes into season and then soils your bed, or suppose the dog starts, um, urinating or whatever on the bed, then you have a problem,
You have a problem.
and then you start throwing the dog out,
Yeah.
which is even worse. So it's best to discipline the dog,
So what's the
give it
best
its
years
own.
for house training the dog? Which are the best? I think the first year is the most important in that sense.
As
The
see, house training
beginning.
is something which the owner himself has to do when he gets the puppy home.
Right,
Ideally, now the theory is that 8 weeks is the ideal age to bring a puppy home,
right.
uh, or 7 weeks at the least. This again depends upon whether the breeder is looking after the puppies well, socializing them or not. If you have a poor kind of a breeder who's not doing all that, you might as well get the puppy home a little earlier and do it yourself. So there's no hard and fast rule as to at what age. But then as soon as the puppy comes home, you see the puppy has to pass urine very frequently, and it will do potty also very frequently. It just has to. You can't stop it. So you have to show it where it has to be done. That's it. Simple enough. Better to keep a spot in the house where the puppy can go, because you can't possibly take the puppy down that many times. Every hour or every 2 hours, you can't afford to go down. And then again, there's always uh, the advice from the vets that you mustn't take the puppy out until the vaccination is over, which again is a bit too restrictive, because we need the puppy to be socialized within the window of 4 weeks to 12 weeks, maximum 16 weeks. In that window, nature has created that impressionable period for the puppy where it will absorb whatever it sees and accept it. After that, if it has not experienced all those issues and inputs in life, then it will not take to it so easily.
Okay.
Yes. So during that period, you must see that the puppy is not frightened in any way, but at the same time, it has to be exposed. You can take it out by car. Having a ride in the car is one thing. All the sounds of the traffic and
Right,
everything.
right.
So basically, all experiences, even dogs who see people with different dresses, makes a difference. See, uh, we had a friend who had imported Pekingese from UK, and in her household they always wore saris. And that puppy had come, maybe not very small, might have come at a little later age. They were used to seeing people wearing skirts.
Okay.
So whenever we went to her house in Pune, that puppy started following her. So, so you see, these things,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
not, I mean,
yes,
they make
yes,
impression
and
on the.
yes, and
Yeah.
to expose the puppy to all experiences is so important. There was one award-winning German Shepherd, which was a police dog. It had won several awards for bravery. And one night, windy night, his officer was going down the street, and the weather there, suddenly got windy, and somebody's umbrella got loose and came tumbling down the road. The dog tugged away and ran off.
Mm.
A brave dog. He hadn't experienced that.
Oh my God.
So you see, you have to be very careful. Whatever you expect your puppy to experience later, finish with it before it is 12 weeks old.
So what does INKC, you know, do in terms of helping the young parents of dogs, the new parents of dogs, how do they help them?
Publicity, of course, we have limited means for publicity because we cannot afford to go on TV, for example. But we have our publications, and
We have this
this,
book.
yes, this is the annual which we come out with every year. It contains everything pertinent to dogs, of
Right,
course, bit
right,
by bit.
right,
Uh, then many years ago in the 80s, we had done a series of almost 100 articles in the daily newspaper,
right,
weekly articles.
right,
So that way the message goes across to all people, you see.
right,
And now this little book we have produced is meant for people who have just acquired a puppy.
right.
And we give this free once a puppy which is registered with us changes hands. We give this free to the new owner
So the
as an
little,
introduction,
it's called a
so
little
that
book of puppies.
they have something to go by.
Right. So this will go to those people who have bought a puppy which is registered with the INKC.
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
What is, if you were to explain it to the viewers, if they need to understand what is the process of joining INKC or registering their pup with INKC?
Well, see, every breed has evolved out of certain circumstances. Most of them are 100 years old, and they've been developed for a purpose. In those days, dogs used to be kept for a purpose,
Right.
and the idea of actually having a pet was limited. So they would be either retrievers when they went out hunting, or they would be guard dogs for the house or
Right.
their mansions and estates, or they would be shepherds,
Right.
cattle dogs. They would look after the flocks of sheep and even herd them and bring them home, and so on. So we had these purposes, and that's how so many breeds have developed all over the world in parallel. And each one has its own characteristics. Along with the behavior, there are also physical characteristics. So now, all over the world, there are breed standards which are a written statement about how every purebred dog should look like, how it should behave, what are its characteristics. So when you breed a dog, you know what is the ideal, and you should strive for that ideal.
Right.
Along with that, dog shows help people to understand, because some experts are there who are appointed as judges, and by evaluating the dogs who are entered, people get to know. See, this is the
This is
correct
an
type.
ideal dog.
This is the correct type.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And then when uh, dogs are bred correctly, you require to study the pedigree also, because the genetics involved is an important factor. To understand genetics, you must have a pedigree which goes down to three ancestors, five generations, and so on. Now, to establish a pedigree, the dog has to be registered first. Otherwise, there is no record at all.
Right.
People don't keep their own pedigrees, and this is a central place where the pedigrees are maintained.
Right.
So once a dog is registered, and then the progeny gets registered, so we know who the parents are.
Right.
From the previous record, we know who the parents were, and so we get five generations pedigree, and that helps us to breed dogs of the correct type.
I can relate to it because Shadow hasn't been afraid of fireworks or this, and I think that when we bought Shadow, the person we bought it from also showed us who his parents were and the parents before that. Okay, he showed the records, but he showed us the video of the parents, and he said these are champion dogs. Now, of course, we couldn't make out much at that stage, but he did say one thing. He says the parents have a very calm temperament, and we see that in Shadow. He does not bark at people, or people he's not comfortable with. He'll give out a very low growl, but he's never even tried to bite anybody. So it's just that he's just a calm soul as such. Uh, in your experience, Firoz sir, and in your all these years, any memories that come across where a dog
Well,
has probably alerted you to something or shown some kind of an awareness?
Well, dogs have a kind of a sense which we just don't know what exactly it is. We always say that they have a strong sense of smell, but sometimes whether it's smell or it's something else. You see, once we were in Ahmedabad with Freya, and after dinner, we went to our respective bedroom. Freya took her dogs with her to her bedroom, and we had the two pugs and Tracy, our cocker spaniel.
Okay.
Normally, Tracy liked to be in the bedroom. She was quite a loner, liked to be by herself. She was out, and normally at the slightest hint, she would run into the bedroom most willingly. That night, she just didn't come. The two pugs went in quite happily. She refused to come. She just stood at the door, looked very sad. Her tail was down, and she had to be persuaded and cajoled. Come on, we are going to lock the door. Come on, get in. So very reluctantly, she crept into the room, started walking right up, clinging to the cupboards and circumventing the middle of the room. And she was giving sly looks at the bed and under the bed. So I realized that something was amiss because this was not normal behavior for her. So immediately, first of all I got all the three dogs out and locked the door. And then I reached for a torchlight and I knelt down and looked under the bed. And there I saw, my God, there was a cobra standing right up. That was quite a frightening thing. Of course, Rati will laugh at me, but the first thing I did after that was to get my camera
He
You wanted
was
to catch
taking
it.
to take
photographs
the.
of
So
the
you have those
cobra.
photographs somewhere.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you see, I was not quite conversant with using a flash because I seldom use the flash,
Ah,
and that was one condition in which I just couldn't take in because it was very dark at
right.
night and right under the
Right.
bed. But I couldn't take a
After he
picture
was
of
taken
at
out.
that point of time. But there are some pictures afterwards where after it had been caught, you see. Freya's husband,
Wow.
yeah, Freya's husband is good at catching snakes. He's one of the guys people call over to catch snakes. So we summoned him, and he came with his stick and he caught the cobra. We put the cobra in a box, and the next morning we went far away to some field and released it.
So this story is in the
The-
Dogs Annual 2020. So
yes.
this is actually a collector's edition. All of these annual books are collector's editions. They're so rich in the content,
Yeah.
and it's really beautiful to have them with you. So I would encourage you to reach out to INKC if you don't have this. You should. Quite a lot of collection stories in there, and so much of information about dogs, dog training, dog breeds. That's something that you should definitely have if you are a dog lover, if you're a dog parent. Tell us some more stories, sir.
One more that comes to mind is years back, golden retrievers were there, and one night he started barking and he wouldn't stop. We kept scolding him, why are you barking? Then we said, must go out and see. We'd all gone to sleep, went out to see, and got the smell of burning.
Mm.
There was short circuit.
Okay.
So we found out which I was causing the problem and switched off.
Yeah.
So the dog detected it first before we could.
Right, and he had the sense to say that this is
Warning.
not normal. There's
Yes,
Something
yes.
is wrong.
Yes, fire is something which all dogs detest.
Right.
In fact, our German shepherds, one of them in particular, would not tolerate anyone who came with the smell of cigarettes on him.
Mm.
He would just,
She would start
give us.
barking.
Yes.
So I remember when I was young, I was probably 15 years, 16 years, and I got home a stray dog, stray pup, and raised them. And the dog had developed mange, the
Yes.
disease,
Yes.
right? And those days, I'm talking about 87, 88, they didn't
Hmm.
have a treatment for that. uh,
Mm.
and so the doctor said, okay, you can try sulfur. So we tried sulfur. My father, who was retired, he used to hold the dog and he used to put sulfur so that the dog wouldn't kind of bite and all. And that didn't work. So my father said, look, there's one way. You have to apply kerosene with a toothbrush so the skin burns off, and then new hair may come.
Mm.
And within 1.5 months, new hair started coming back, and my dog stopped resisting my father. So he used to come willingly and get the treatment done. And they have a sense that probably this person is helping out and it's
Yes.
working. Uh, a few months after that, my father passed away. I mean, he was in our native place at Ratnagiri, and my dog suddenly started howling, and my father was found, I think, 2 days later on, and for those 2 days, my dog was howling continuously, and it's
Mm.
when we got the call from our neighbors over there, and they had called our neighbors. Those days we used to have a landline. Only one house used to have a landline, so the neighbors
Mm.
came in the middle of the night and they informed us, and that was the time the dog stopped howling.
Oh.
And he went into depression after that, and sadly, after just 2 3 months, the doctor said, look, he's not eating anything, he's going to die off. And the disease started coming back again. So
Mm.
unfortunately we had to put him down. But those are memories, because I keep wondering as to how did the dog know. I mean, they definitely have a sense, and they're
They do.
connected to us. And dogs make out, your pets, I'm sure, might make out, even if you're not home but you're approaching home, they have a sense that,
Yeah.
okay,
Yes,
you're coming, and
yes.
they're like waiting. And
Everybody's
yeah,
experienced that.
and
Yes.
they will start wagging their
Yeah.
tail and all. But you're probably parking your car, but they already know.
Correct.
They know.
That's
Right.
it.
So if you were to kind of, most of us stay in urban cities and in flats, and then we have these smooth tiles and all. So if you were to kind of recommend the ideal breed,
Uh-huh.
what would you say?
Uh, well, breed wise, people go in for looks, but then every breed has a different behavioral characteristics also. Now, one must select a dog according to its requirement of exercise, mental stimulation, size, depending on your circumstances.
Right,
Of course, the first thing is that everyone in the house should love dogs,
right, right.
whether the dog is easy to keep or difficult to keep. Once you got the dog, you got to look after it. That's it.
Yes,
So select a breed according to what really matters. Don't just go in for fashion.
right.
People just buy when the pugs were advertised by this mobile company.
Yes,
Everybody
yes,
wanted to buy a pug.
yeah.
And a long time before that, there was an Indian movie where a Labrador was a hero.
Oh,
And that time, everyone wanted a Labrador. And so
right.
everywhere you saw it was a Labrador.
Yes,
So people just go in by uh, just emotion. They
right,
don't really select.
right.
And the
Yeah,
person
I
who's
think that's a message, I think, that we should kind of pass on, because there are so many instances of dogs being put up for adoption, and that's unfortunately only increasing by the day. And it is lack of awareness that the pet parents are not
yes,
probably doing their own research before going in and buying a particular breed. Because if you get a large dog and that dog is confined to a small space, that dog is not going to understand why is it confined to a small space. And unfortunately, there are those instances, and it's quite sad to see those
Yeah.
pets
yes,
being put up for
yes.
adoption and in dog shelters and all.
That's it.
What would your advice be, sir, to the young pet parents,
Well,
ma'am?
first of all,
They should they
yeah,
should think about what they exactly want. They want a watchdog or they want a pet's dog. They want a dog for the children,
Right.
and accordingly they can pick the breeds.
Right. Right.
Like, I mean, gun dogs are very sweet natured, mild. They're good with children,
Right.
At first,
children and old people.
Right.
It would be
first of all, they should like dogs.
Right.
A
Yeah.
dog is not some little toy which will just sit in the corner at your command and by a decorative piece
Right.
and come to you only for petting. It's a social being, so you have to mingle with it. It's part of your family. If you're prepared to accept that, then in the extreme, any breed will do, basically,
Right.
if you are prepared to give it what it requires. But if you're not prepared to give what any dog will require, then it's better you don't keep a dog at all.
Right.
It comes to that.
it's like having a child in the house.
Those are the dogs who get abandoned because they
Hmm.
just leave them because they can't manage them.
Right. So, Ratty ma'am, Feroz sir, uh, any any parting thoughts for the audience also? How would you want them to be associated with INKC? Can you tell them how they can reach out? What is the website and what is the means of reaching out?
Well, we have a website, inkc.in, where we give all the information about the club, about the various breeds, and quite a bit of information is there. Our contact numbers are there. If any requirement is there, people can ring us up. They do ring us up. Our phone is always busy throughout the day. And our registration procedure for dogs is also now very easy because it's totally online. You don't have to fill up any forms. You don't have to waste money on postage and send letters or things like that. It's just on your own laptop or your own mobile. You can
Right.
register your dogs
Right.
and your litters. And if you're selling your puppies to some good home or wherever, the transfer also can be done online on the spot.
Right.
There's no time lag.
Wow.
So these are the benefits we offer. Then of course we have dog shows which are announced, and people who are interested in breeds and so on, they will come for the dog shows, enter their dogs. For obedience tests, any dog can enter. Doesn't have to be a pure breed. Also, it depends on the training.
Right.
But very few do come up. Sometimes a few do, but not many. Mostly it's the pure breeds only who come.
Right.
So these are the activities we have. We
We
also have the child handlers event at the dog show, where any child who is happens to be there and wants to handle a dog,
Wow.
they can even borrow somebody else's well mannered dog or a small dog, and you see
Walking.
little toddlers going around with with a
Yeah.
dog in the ring. They're so
Yeah,
happy.
the sooner they start, the
Yeah,
better.
yeah.
I also wanted to add over here that they have their daughter, Dr. Freya, who is carrying on the torch. She is in Ahmedabad, settled in Ahmedabad, and over there she leads the. She's part of the Ahmedabad Kennel Club.
Yes, yes,
right?
they hold the
And
shows
they
there.
host shows over there, and we are going to have a very short interview with Dr. Freya also, which will continue in this particular episode itself. But have you thought about what you wanted to share?
Knowledge about dogs should percolate to people even outside the field of dog lovers. Even if people don't want to keep a dog, they should know something about dogs, because in every field of life you will be encountering some aspect of dogs at any given time. For example, some people say that the dogs attack them when they enter their society compound or things like that. And then there are people in high office, government decision makers, who decide things pertaining to dogs when they don't have sufficient background information about dogs. So they are qualified elsewhere. They may be IAS officers or whatever, but they don't have that knowledge, but they are
Right.
in that position.
Right.
So it's essential that most people should have some basic background knowledge of dogs wherever they are. I'll give you one classic example. Recently, there's been this thing for the last couple of years. There's a clamor for banning certain breeds as being dangerous to human life. So they selected 21 breeds and said these are dangerous and they should be banned. Somebody went to Delhi High Court, and the court asked the Animal Welfare Board and the Department of Animal Husbandry and Fisheries how to solve this problem about dog bites. Now, Animal Husbandry Department is interested in getting profit out of animals. They have dairying, they have sheep farming, and of course they have the fishery department. So they are involved with that aspect of keeping animals. They are not involved with pet animals at all. But there's no separate department. And then they got in touch with the Animal Welfare Board, which ultimately just tried to get opinions from others, because the court said you must get opinion from other stakeholders. So we prepared our document and submitted it. Now let's see what happens, because it's not the breeds which are dangerous, it's the way they are kept and trained. That's the human beings who are dangerous. Any breed can bite. So even a small dog can bite, but it would not cause that much damage. That's all. These powerful breeds, people want to keep these breeds just out of ego, or just a macho image, that I see my dog, he'll tear you apart. But then that's dangerous. If you want to incite your dogs to attack, then they will attack. So it's not the dog that is responsible, it's the human being.
Right. That's a very
So,
important thought and very well.
yes, another example I can give you is there was a double murder case some many years back, and the dog was brought in right in the initial stages, and the dog traced the culprit through the evidence which was left behind.
It left
The
the slipper
trial,
behind.
the slipper was left behind, and the dog could follow the scent and reach the culprit. And the trial court said the evidence created by a dog is of a weak nature and cannot be admitted. And the culprit was acquitted. So the police went in appeal to the High Court. The judge in the High Court happened to be a dog lover who had exhibited at our shows, and he had seen dogs performing in our obedience tests. So he knew how dogs can pick up the right scent, because he had seen it firsthand. He went through all the evidence and he reversed the judgment. And now that has become the precedent. So that's how it helps.
Yeah.
So if the judge himself doesn't know anything about dogs, some knowledge about dogs should be known by everyone
Right.
in all walks of life.
Right. And they've been so much a part of our work life.
Yes.
You have police dogs.
Oh, yes.
You have dogs,
So,
rescue dogs.
rescue dogs, that's right.
Then you have therapy dogs.
That's right. The
Okay,
therapy
so-
dogs are a big thing now.
Yeah. So every and they are, when you say dogs are man's best friend, I think it just goes on to prove how much of a best friend they are.
Yeah.
And in all of these
Yes.
aspects, it's so amazing.
Historic,
Yeah.
historically
We
as
also
well
have
as
seminars
Right.
where we try to educate the people on various aspects,
Right.
on training, socializing.
Right.
Socializing is most important,
Correct. Correct. Right.
which most people don't understand.
When is your next program?
I
we are-
think 5th
we-
of October they
5th
are
of
thinking
October.
of having
Okay.
at the veterinary
Okay.
college.
So keep an eye out on that 5th of October or nearabouts there. But
Yes.
October it is. So keep an eye out on that, and do follow INKC on the social media channels also. They have a YouTube channel where this is going to be aired, and they also have an Instagram profile. But lots more conversations to come. And Firoz sir, Ratty ma'am, congratulations on your 52nd anniversary. once
Thank you,
again.
thank you.
And wishing
It was
you all the
very well
best.
celebrated with you.
And wishing you all the very best, both
Thank
of
you.
you, and to Dr. Freya. And it's been a pleasure seeing the kind of work that you have done over the years, and I'm sure IMKC is going to continue making a difference to not only the pet parents' lives, but in the lives of the dogs themselves. to ensure that it's a good life for dogs. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So this interview, this conversation happened because of Subodh Gore sir. I don't know how many of you know Subodh Gore, but he is a very well-known person in the Mumbai circles, and I think because of social media, I should say all over India now, because and he runs so many groups. He's a versatile man. He's got interests in dogs, cats, birds, aquarium fish. That's how we know each other. And plants. And within plants, then he's got specialties. He's got a group for orchids and whatnot. So Subodh Gore sir invited me over and said, "Okay, want you to do this interview." And I'm so glad that we did this. Subodh Gore sir, why don't you share something? Kai sanga amala ikade botalo.
Thank you, Amar sir. Actually, I was in touch with Loken sir, and I wanted a nice chihuahua. I had one, and I wanted one more. So he said me to be in touch with Amit. So I was in touch with Amit Bhokte. Then Amit Bhokte gave me one puppy, and that was a show-worthy dog. So we registered him in INKC, and I started participating in shows. And by participating only, I kept on learning many things. My dog also became champion, and he was very well socialized. And I am really proud of him. And that is how we came in contact. And last 10 years, um, I'm in touch with them. And I said these are great personalities and should be recorded someday. So I requested Amar sir to have a podcast. I said extend your hobby to not just aquarium but all pets. So he is doing this, and I'm really thankful to him also.
So
And I'm thankful to Phiroze sir and Ratty and Javeri. I have become their household member. And thank you very much.
thank you, Subodh sir. Thank you, Ratty ma'am. Thank you,
Thank
Firoz
you.
sir. Thank you so much. Thank you. Doc, so nice to finally meet you. We've been speaking over the phone after I met up with Firoz sir and Ratty ma'am last week, and it was such a wonderful meeting. And it's all through the meeting you kept featuring into the discussions and all. And this video, this small interview that I've had with them to share their story wouldn't be completed without having you in this. So let's hear from you, Doc. So please give us a quick introduction. And I'm sorry I'm saying quick introduction because I know you've done so many things, but let us know what you do, and how then we'll dive into your memories.
Okay.
Okay.
So by profession, I'm a vet. Um, my hobby, of course, like my parents, is purebred dogs, um, breeding, showing. Um, so that's a bit of what I do, and I sort of became more involved with the INKC. I think in my 20s because of the growing need to sort of reach out and educate dog lovers. So that is still is a large part of the activity that I'm involved with when it concerns my role in INKC. I edit the INKC Dogs Annual,
Right.
which has now become the most premium magazine for dog enthusiasts in India.
Yes,
It's
yes, I
been
saw that.
very
Yeah.
Thank
Yes.
you. It's been very widely acclaimed here as well as abroad.
Right.
So these are uh, these are the aspects that we sort of focus on as well. I think that is, I guess, a little more behind the scenes compared to,
Uh-huh.
everyone knows about our shows and our judges and all that, but we do have a lot of educational activities, awareness activities going on as well.
Right. So you've obviously, I saw your, I was going through your Instagram profile also. I saw a recent post where you have wished them for 51 years, at their 51st anniversary. That's
Yeah.
amazing. And so you've seen the growth of INKC over the years as well, and it's such an esteemed institution now, because when an institution is completing 70 years, and that's seeing so many generations, it's really amazing the kind of work Ratty ma'am and Firoz sir have done.
Yes.
uh, what are your earliest memories, and what really pulled you in? Also, you've been surrounded by dogs, so let's we know that is part of your life, but yeah.
Oh, earliest memories. Of course, as you said, I've been surrounded by dogs. And as a child, when I used to accompany them to dog shows, um, it was just a fun activity for me. Like, I mean, when you're like 4 or 5 years old, I don't think you understand the depth of what a dog show is, right?
Right, right,
um, and then of course I was constantly surrounded by conversations of bloodlines and anatomical structures of dogs and different breed characteristics and breed standard, and then that's how you kind of gradually get drawn in.
right,
But
right,
that is hasn't only happened with me, it has happened with many um, people of my generation and the generation after me, who is gradually getting into dogs because of the fascination of basically what we're trying to do with dog shows, which I think, as I said, as a child I didn't understand. As I grew, I became more aware of why we are having dog shows.
right, right.
Is a dog show is essentially an assessment.
Hmm,
It's fun. It's a fun activity. It's a social outing for you, your dog, everything. But it's an educational experience for the owner, because of the interactions they have with expert judges, and it's an assessment for each individual dog. So
right.
when you are about to breed your dog, you have to have an objective, expert assessment of whether your dog is honestly of the structure and conformation that should be bred or not. Because even though the breed standard is in each breed is not something that has just been made very frivolously, like because somebody liked the head to look like this and the eyes to look like that.
Hmm,
It's
hmm,
absolutely not. It Each and every aspect, each and every line in the breed standard of any breed has a very, very important purpose behind it,
hmm, hmm,
and that is connected with the basic original job and functioning of that dog.
hmm,
So
hmm,
what we are doing when we are breeding to the standard, and we are trying to breed as close to ideal as possible,
hmm,
and obviously the aim is to make every generation better.
hmm, hmm,
That is how dog shows also help. So when we're doing that,
hmm,
what we're doing is we're improving the predictability, we're improving the soundness of each dog.
hmm,
So the dog is generally healthier. The
hmm.
pups are generally healthier when they have been bred more scientifically with more awareness of
That's
the
right.
bloodline. That
That's
is
right.
one thing. And what people, I think, a lot of people who go set out to buy a pet and say, "Mujhe kya karna hai show dog se?
Hmm.
I'm not gonna show my dog. So why do I want to buy from a show bloodline? You people will charge so much, etc.,
Correct.
etc."
Correct.
What people don't understand is the predictability of the temperament
Yeah. Yeah.
is what you get in a pup from a show bloodline. Now that
Yeah.
temperament is everything for a pet dog and a family dog, and
Right.
therefore show dogs make better pets.
Yeah, so
which is what people don't realize.
what you just said, it struck a chord with me because I have a black Labrador, an English Labrador. His name is Shadow. He's just about going to touch 10 years, and I remember when we were looking to buy one, and we were scouting around. The person who showed us Shadow, because we met a lot of people, and he showed us the photographs and the video of the parents, and he says, look, these are champion parents. And we went through exactly the same thoughts that you just mentioned.
Right.
But he said, look, these are champion parents. Look at the father, look at the mother, and look at how calmly they conduct themselves. Okay.
Yes.
And at that time it really didn't kind of strike us so much. But Shadow is a dog who will generally not bark at anybody, okay, unless there's good reason that he feels uncomfortable. He will not bark at anybody. He will not growl, or biting is never happened in
Out of
10
the
years, so
question.
it's never there. He doesn't have the instinct to bite. He may show us his teeth and all if he's not happy about something, and that's just about it. And if I reprimand him for that, he will quieten down, but he will only listen to me for that. But the the point here is what you just mentioned, the temperament, and it comes down with the genes, and
It
that's
does.
passed on, and I can see that. And it's so true that we need to preserve these bloodlines, and make
Absolutely.
sure that the
Absolutely.
right you know pedigree is then continued in that sense.
Yes, yes. So I
Great.
do feel that when people say that, I'm getting a cheaper pup, or I don't need a show dog, or that sort of thing, actually what they're doing is they're directly encouraging puppy mills, and they're
Hmm.
directly encouraging
Hmm.
poor breeding.
Hmm.
So whatever, I mean, I frankly don't even remember what I spent when I bought any of the pups that I bought,
Hmm.
because it becomes irrelevant
Hmm. Hmm.
in a day or two.
Hmm.
It becomes irrelevant
It
because
does.
that baby is so precious
Yes,
that
it does.
whatever you paid was nothing. and
Absolutely.
and it's just one time,
It's
but
correct.
that
Hmm.
that is your child for the next 12, 15 years, and that
Yes.
those 12, 15 years should be easy on you and less stressful on them,
Correct. Correct.
right? So
Correct.
that if you want that real connection, that bond to form, it won't happen with a dog who's constantly aggressive, stressed, reactive, all the
Yeah.
things that come with poor genes and poor early socialization, which has happened with
Right.
feeder. And
Right.
feeder knows
Right.
what he's doing. A puppy mill doesn't care.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
there is a big difference.
Yeah. I really love the tagline of INKC it's on the magazines also. Uh, what does it start with? A
It's
good life
dogs
for
for
a dog,
dogs for a good life and a good life for dogs.
and a good life for dogs. It's so apt,
Yes,
because if we take care of them, they add so much. And I was telling Firoz sir also, and Ati ma'am also, I feel that Shadow has probably added to our lives, and
absolutely.
especially when we went through the pandemic together,
Hmm.
and being locked up in the house like that for months together. um, they absorb so much of our stress. They relieve us of our stress. So I really love that tagline. Okay. uh, what else would you like to share with our viewers, and keeping in mind that you know the journey of Ratty ma'am and Firoz sir over the years for INKC, and how do you see this going forward?
So I have to, yes, a very large chunk of the hard work was done by my parents. We've been blessed with a lot of good people along the way, and some who are not with us now.
Okay.
But so we've conducted the INKC in a manner that remains true to its core principles. You know,
mm, mm,
so having promoting ethical breeding,
mm.
um, having judges that are not only knowledgeable but have integrity that you can't question. It's very very important because, as I said, the shows are the place where the assessment happens,
Right.
right? So since that being the core of sort of choosing or um, promoting better dogs and better bloodlines, since that is the core of better breeding, our judges are very important, and therefore we have a small panel,
Mm,
a few Indian judges, a few international judges. We have a small panel, but it's a panel that is carefully chosen
mm,
and constantly sort of checked upon. So every show that all of us judge, even I am a judge, but
mm,
every show that each of us judges is being looked at by the council and is being checked for whether there are I mean, anything that points towards either a lack of knowledge or the possibility that the judge has been swayed by this or that. Because see, it happens in every show that handlers will come in and tell you that my dog is the son of this grand champion and this and that. So our response is to sort of ignore it and walk off, sort of thing, because it doesn't matter.
correct. Correct.
What matters is
The
the
dog in
dog
front
that
of
is
you.
in
Yeah.
front of me on that day,
Right.
um, how good he is in soundness, in structure, and in movement. Sometimes maybe that day he's not moving well, and I mean, it may just be one of those things that, I mean, he's just not in the mood, and
Yeah.
that happens too. That happens too. It can happen to good dogs as well, but it is my job or the judge's job to judge the dog on the day.
Right. Yes, so true. So, so does INKC or AKC also um, train people on becoming dog trainers and therefore certify them? Is that part of
Uh,
the
so we do not
process?
directly certify. We've had courses conducted by John Rogerson. I think John Rogerson came through INKC 2 or 3 times to India
Hmm, hmm,
and conducted courses in Mumbai as well as Ahmedabad. We had um David Bates coming in.
mhm,
He had also conducted a few training courses. Um, Apart from that, we've had judging workshops. So we've had Chris Wolkowicz coming from the US. We've had quite a few such activities. Um,
hmm.
Essentially, we're trying to sort of increase the sort of broaden the knowledge bank of people who are interested in going deeper into certain topics or
Right,
certain aspects of keeping
right,
dogs.
right. It's I need to kind of block some hours to kind of have this conversation. And I'm just grateful that you could take some time out of your busy schedule for
No
this
problem.
short conversation, but I would love to kind of continue this further. But just wanted to thank you for sparing these few minutes and
Thank you so much for
completing
having me.
and completing the conversations that we started with Ratty ma'am and Firoz sir. And I'm so glad to have you as part of this conversation
Thank you.
also. Thank you so much for spending this time with us.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.